Well, we just saw Maleficent, the new Maleficent movie with Angelina Jolie. And the way this show works is we will give you a quick impression of whether we like the movie or not, so you can decide if you want to go see it. If you do, stop the video, go check it out, and then come back and watch the rest, because we'll get into spoilers and talk more about what we liked and what we didn't about this particular movie. So I've been sort of excited about this movie. I've always really liked the character of Maleficent. I like the original Sleeping Beauty Disney animated movie a lot. And I was very excited at the prospect of having Angelina Jolie in the lead character as Maleficent. And she delivers this. She pretty much single-handedly keeps this movie afloat. It has some real problems, but it's nowhere near as problematic as something like Snow White and the Huntsman. It may be a little bit better even, I'd say, than Oz the Great and Powerful, which I personally liked. I know some people are kind of on the fence about that one, but I like this movie. I don't know that it was necessarily one that I would say go see in 3D, but definitely something to check out if you're up for kind of a family movie. It does drag a little bit here and there, and there are some problems with the plot and problems with what they do with the characters, but overall it's not a bad film. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I thought lots of entertainment. The visual effects were amazing. I thought it was good. Angelina Jolie was good. The guy that played King Stefan, that was Charlton Copley, the District 9 guy, right? Yeah, Dickus.
Did you like his performance?
I did. I mean, it wasn't like standout, but it was good, serviceable, you know?
Yeah.
So, for me, I don't know that much or remember that much about the actual background story of Sleeping Beauty, so for me it was kind of fresh, and I thought it was kind of a cool take on it, showing it from Maleficent's point of view. So enjoyable for me as a movie, though. Definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed it. I'm a huge Gregory Maguire and Wicked fan, so anytime they can take a well-known villain and kind of show it from their perspective and turn things on their head, I'm all about. I think, like Dale said, there's some problems here and there, but overall, I really enjoyed most of the movie for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought it was really creative. It's not entirely, I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I didn't think it was entirely predictable. Some of the parts were a little interesting. I was a little hesitant about Angelina Jolie just because her personal life has gotten into my mind, but I think she did a good job. And I was really watching it tonight to see if I could take my 5-year-old daughter. And I think it might be a little draggy for her. Yeah. I was worried about the fear factor of it being really dark and scary. I don't think that's going to be the problem. I think it's going to be that it's real people talking and doing real people things.
Yeah, there was less darkness than I was expecting from the trailer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's our quick sort of overview synopsis of what we thought. If that sounds like something you want to go see, definitely go check it out. Don't let us ruin it for you. Otherwise, keep listening and we'll talk some more about Maleficent. You brought up the father character, the king, Stefan, so Stefan meets Maleficent when they're younger, and he betrays her and cuts off her wings, and that's how he becomes king. One of the things that I'd seen about this said that they felt like the guy that played Stefan was trying to do a Robert Carlyle impression, and I think that's a really spot on.
I can see that.
That really plays in, like watching that really colored my vision of how he played it, because he does this kind of camp Scottish accent that is a lot like Robert Carlyle's in the Once Upon a Time TV series. The rest of the movie, like as far as things that they did that were kind of problematic, I didn't like that they just sort of narrated over a bunch of stuff. They did a lot of telling instead of showing, which you're not supposed to do in movies. And there was a lot of things that just sort of, like, you knew what the next plot point was going to be, and they would just stop. And it would just stall out for a while, and you'd wait. And then they would get to the plot point, and they would either do it the way you expected, or they would try to subvert it in one way or another. And like Wicked, and also like Oz the Great and Powerful, which Oz the Great and Powerful, they have another version of what how the Wicked Witch became the Wicked Witch, and it's basically the same as this story where the wizard like tells her that he loves her and then doesn't live up to that side of things. And so one thing I think people will find problematic about this is that basically Maleficent becomes evil because a guy rejects her, which I agree is a problem. And
I think that
they
played out pretty well.
do a very good job of. They don't do a really good job of justifying that. I don't understand him as a character making that decision. They didn't tell me like he says at the beginning like he wants to be king and live in the castle one day.
Yeah, and then there's like a throwaway line in the narration about
Just
the greed of
voiceover.
yeah, that's like the greed of humans, and that's pretty much all you get.
Yeah, you don't see his motivation why he would go to that length to betray, like, you know, that's...
It's like, do I want to be the king or do I want to have a magic girlfriend? And everything in the movie up till that point has told you having a magic girlfriend is way cooler than living at the castle.
Yeah.
And so that it just never worked for me that they made that decision.
But do you think that she was evil because he rejected her, or because he cut off her wings and that was like her support, her parents, her friends? Like she said, they followed me, they never let me down. Like they were like her support group.
Yeah.
And he
I really
took
did
those
like
away
that,
from
that
her.
moment when she talked about losing her wings later in the movie. That was pretty...
Well, and that's the other part. So part one of the problem. Part two of the problem is the pedantic, rules of how this movie works problem, which is she's completely omnipotent.
Yeah, that's
apart from getting her wings back, and when they reveal at the end that like the wings can still like fly back and reattach themselves, it's like, why not just do that instead of all of this other crap that you went through?
Yeah, I felt like, and maybe it's just because of the gamer nerd in me, but like I was like for me, her powers were kind of all over the place. Like in one scene, she's creating a giant thorn wall around the entirety of her kingdom, and in another scene, she's surrounded by a bunch of dudes wearing armor, and she can't
do anything because it's iron.
Like a shockwave, like shit. I mean, it was just really, it was distracting. Like, why aren't you? There was like that whole sequence in the throne room at the end where she did nothing, basically.
Yeah. Well, and they kept introducing new like creatures into the world, like up until like 40-50 minutes into the movie, like there's still like something new that comes by that she's like checking out and oohing and eyeing, and they didn't have like a set design for like what the fairy people were like, or what there's like all these different kinds of designs. They have these real natural like tree-like people, and they have like the little fairy pixie things,
and they all lived on Pandora,
and they're all just like hanging out. And the three fairy godmothers from the original movie, they changed their names for some reason.
That does seem odd.
I don't understand that. They changed their names for some reason, and then they just sort of write them out of most of the movie. They take her off to the house, and then they're not seen again until her 16th birthday party. Like, they just kind of toss those characters aside. So, it sounds like I'm bashing this movie. I don't dislike it. I think it has some problems. I think they kind of struggled to make a feature-length movie out of it. And I think they really banked on people wanting to just watch Angelina Jolie play this role, and they were mostly right. So, I think it's weird that they were struggling to make a full-length feature, but then it seemed like there were parts where they really could have added more to it, Like, I would have liked to have seen the girl who played Maleficent was beyond beautiful, and her face was so expressive, and I could have watched her all day long. And then Angelina Jolie comes in, and immediately she's like this evil bitch, and I was just like, wait a minute. You mean the young Maleficent?
Yeah,
the first one.
She was beautiful, and then we go from that, and then I don't have a chance to like really like Angelina and the character.
You're right. Like, as an adult Maleficent, you don't see her.
Yeah, she's always like super powerful and kind of has that pouty thing going. Yeah, I agree with that. The other thing, I think the other thing that most people are going to sort of hinge their like or dislike of this movie on is whether the subversion of the true love's kiss idea works for them or not.
Again, not really remembering the background of it, I kind of like that it didn't go the usual. What you expect.
And I think I was kind of expecting it too, that it was going to go the way.
There was really no other way for it to go. Honestly, the way they built this movie, there was no other way for it to go. If the prince had been able to wake her up with a kiss,
that would have been a huge letdown.
It would have been a terrible letdown because we had absolutely no, connection or desire to see that happen. We wanted to see Maleficent get redeemed. And the only thing about it that I would say surprised me is that I actually didn't, I was so captivated by her performance at that point that I actually didn't notice that she'd kissed her.
Oh, yeah.
They did it so fast, I actually didn't notice that she had kissed
on the forehead,
Aurora, but she did it on the forehead. And then they close in on Aurora's face, and I'm like, oh, okay, here it comes. And so, yeah, that's not necessarily a shock to me that they went that direction. It's just, I think a lot of people are going to either love or hate this because of that choice, because of that decision.
Frozen just did it though. That's my only thing. It's Disney's, and great for them. It's not like all the men saving the women. That's great, but they just did it. Could we figure out some other creative way besides?
Well, and I want to say there's another one too. This is the third Disney movie in a row that's done that subverted that particular trope. But yeah, and Frozen does it much better. I guess it works a little bit better in that Aurora's not much of a character to build on in this or in the original movie. She's really just beautiful. That's her whole personality.
That was my other issue. Yeah, was that it was all they did when she auditioned was just, can you smile?
Yeah, that's what I was like. She's really good at smiling.
Yeah, that's all she did the whole dang movie is smile.
But that's all she does in the original, to be fair, that's really all that she does.
She sings and dances with an owl wearing boots. Or was it a rabbit? I don't remember.
Would you have liked this movie better if that had happened?
Probably.
I was also it's just a little minor thing, but I couldn't help but be distracted by the main red pixie because of I'll never remember her name, but she was Miss What's-Her-Face in the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, was she Miss Weasley?
No, the evil teacher.
Oh yeah.
And I can't remember her name, but so it was just a little. I was like, so I can't help but see that actress and think I hate that woman so much.
I'll have to look it up after I get done. But the blonde fairy looked really familiar too. I can't place where
it was also came from. The CGI they used when they were in pixie form was a little distracting.
Uncanny Valley.
Yes, absolutely. Because when they were full size, I was like, oh, they really look normal. So it wasn't just that they made them small to be pixies.
No, they deformed them in CG
in weird ways, and it was, not necessarily a totally bad thing, but it was a little distracting and odd.
Yeah.
I guess it makes them look otherworldly and fey-like, so that works.
Maleficent. That was our review. Thanks for watching. Please check out our other reviews on YouTube and at DaleMaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.
Ciao.